Arseniy Yatsenyuk heads to the White House on Wednesday in the hope that the U.S. can help him find a way out of the standoff with Russia over Crimea. What Ukraine's interim prime minister will find is a warm welcome.
That we strongly support Ukraine, the Ukrainian people, and the legitimacy of the new Ukrainian government.
The U.S.'s position that Ukraine is the victim of Russian aggression has infuriated Moscow. President Vladimir Putin accuses the U.S. and the European Union of meddling in a regional dispute where Russia has a vested interest: the well-being of ethnic Russians inside Ukraine after the ousting of that country's legitimate president, Viktor Yanukovych. Analysts say Putin's argument is rooted in Russia's fundamental concern about its place in the world order, and that the U.S. must appeal to that concern as it tries to mediate.
The Russian elite continues to see the country as being one of a handful of major global players. And one of the claims that they have to that status is that Russia sort of sits at the center of a network of post-Soviet states, and therefore that it's not only Russia, but it's Russia and all of its allies and partners. And among all of those post-Soviet states, I would argue that Ukraine is probably the most important.
They also say that the U.S. is wrong to embrace the interim government in Kiev and to promise it financial support without acknowledging that the opposition too has made mistakes, among them denying Yanukovych supporters a role in the new government. An advisor to likely presidential candidate Vitaly Klitschko warns that political reconciliation within his country and with Russia can't happen unless Moscow stops its interference.
I do not buy this talk about fraternal peoples of Russia and Ukraine, because we have been incorporated into Russian Empire since 1654. And all the history of this relation was mostly the history of oppression of Ukraine by Russia, starting with the time of the Tsars, going through the artificial famine, and up to the Russification campaign of the 70s.
The challenge facing the Obama administration: reassuring the Ukrainians while standing up to the Russians. No easy task when there's a decided lack of trust on all sides. Rosiland, Al Jazeera, Washington.